So this whole week we've been working on identifying and describing characters. We've identifying their traits, feelings, actions, motivations. So everything we've done this week is leading up to this, and it includes basically everything we've done: answering questions about it, filling out graphic organizers. Okay, we've done all of these things. So let's go ahead and get started. It is a quiz, so I will read it to you and I will read the questions and answer choices. So, as I always say, it might be best to, grab a piece of paper, write number one as I read them. You might want to mark down what you think number one is while it's being read to you. Of course, you can always go back and watch this or read it to yourself as well. So, Cleopatra finds her voice. 11-year-old Princess Cleopatra sailed the Nile River on the royal barge. Her father, the king of Egypt, played his flute. They were sailing from their palace in Alexandria to cities along the Nile. The king would often lead important ceremonies. Cleopatra watched for slithering crocodiles and yawning hippos. Sometimes she would catch a glimpse of a sacred ibis bird tiptoeing along the marshy banks. As the royal barge sailed, people crowded the banks, hoping to see the princess and her father. They sang and chanted and threw flowers, but it bothered Cleopatra that she could not understand what they said. Her father explained that people of Egypt spoke Egyptian, while Cleopatra's family spoke Greek. But her father was the ruler of Egypt. Why didn't he and his family speak the native language? They could thank their ancestors for that, the king said. The royal family traced its history back 250 years to the time of the Greek conqueror Alexander the Great. Alexander had conquered Egypt. When he died, his Greek general Ptolemy took over. Ever since, all of the rulers of Egypt had spoken Greek. Once back at home, Cleopatra insisted on learning the Egyptian language. She believed that a ruler should know her people, and that meant knowing their words. Cleopatra studied hard and soon learned to speak Egyptian, but she didn't stop there. She also learned Hebrew, Aramaic, Persian, Latin, and some African dialects. She loved learning and excelled in math and science too. Later, when she ruled as queen, one of her first acts was to visit the city of Memphis for an important religious ceremony. This time, she spoke to the people in Egyptian. The people loved her for learning their language. She showed them respect and honor in many other ways too. Cleopatra is remembered as a brilliant queen. She was the only Egyptian ruler in hundreds of years to learn the language of her people. All right, so after reading that, use what you learned from reading the selection to respond to these questions. Number one, this question has two parts. First, answer part A and then answer part B. Part A, what does Cleopatra find out about herself after she learns to speak Egyptian? A, speaking Egyptian helps her understand her religion better. B, she no longer thinks her father is a good king. C, her family's old language no longer sounds right. Or D, she realizes she has a love for learning. And part B, okay, so two of these, you're selecting two, support your answer to part A. So which two of these prove this answer, okay? A, she also learned Hebrew, Aramaic, Persian, Latin, and some African dialects. B, they sang and chanted and threw flowers. C, but it bothered Cleopatra that she couldn't understand what they said. D, ever since, all of the rulers of Egypt had spoken Greek. Or E, she loved learning and excelled in math and science too. So which two of these answers prove your answer for up here? They support it, okay? They prove that it's right, okay? I'm going to end this video and start a new one for time's sake.